The night my wife died, the house didn't just fall silent, it collapsed into a kind of emptiness that echoed louder than any scream. The hospital smell still clung to my clothes, her last breath replayed in my mind like a cruel loop, and the sound of the front door closing behind me felt like the final nail sealing a life I could never return to. I stood there in the dark living room, staring at the couch where she used to curl up with a blanket, and for the first time in my life, I didn't know how to exist without her. Right then, before I could even sit down or let the weight of it crush me completely, her mother placed a trembling hand on my shoulder and said something that felt both strange and painfully kind at the same time. She told me that I shouldn't be alone tonight. Her voice carried grief, but also a quiet firmness, like she already understood that the kind of loneliness waiting for me was not something a person should face in silence. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of human connection during the darkest times, take a moment to like this video, share it, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel, Kindness Stories, to support more emotional journeys like this one. I remember looking at her, unable to fully process what she meant. The woman standing before me had just lost her daughter, yet somehow she was thinking about me. Her eyes were swollen, her hands cold, and yet there was a strength in her presence that made me feel like I wasn't completely falling apart alone. Still, I hesitated. Grief does something strange, it makes you want to isolate, to hide, to protect the pain as if letting anyone near it would somehow make it worse, but she didn't leave. She walked slowly into the house, as if stepping into a place filled with memories she wasn't sure she could survive, and sat down quietly. I followed, not because I was ready, but because I didn't have the strength to argue. The clock ticked loudly on the wall, every second reminding me that time was moving forward without her, and that realization was unbearable. As the hours passed, the house felt like it was breathing in sorrow. Every object became a reminder. Her favorite mug still sat in the kitchen sink. Her scarf hung on the chair where she had left it just days before. I could almost hear her laugh, see her walking through the hallway, feel her presence lingering in the spaces she once filled so effortlessly. And every memory cut deeper than the last. Her mother stayed there the entire time. She didn't force conversation, didn't try to offer empty words of comfort. Instead, she simply existed beside me in the silence, occasionally wiping her tears, occasionally looking around as if searching for her daughter in the same place as I was. There was something profoundly human in that shared grief, something that didn't need words to be understood. At one point, I found myself breaking. The tears came suddenly, uncontrollably, like a dam had finally given way. I bent forward, my hands covering my face, the weight of loss crashing down on me with full force. And in that moment, she moved closer, not as my mother-in-law, but as someone who understood pain in its rawest form. She placed her hand over mine, and that simple gesture grounded me in a way nothing else could. Days turned into weeks, and the world outside kept moving, indifferent to the storm that had torn through my life. People returned to their routines, messages slowed, visits became less frequent. But her mother didn't disappear. She continued to check on me, sometimes bringing food I barely had the appetite to eat, sometimes just sitting quietly like she had that first night. There were moments when I questioned everything. The purpose of waking up, the meaning of continuing, the reason for carrying on when the person who made life feel complete was gone.